Hi guys, in this review we're checking out the microconnectors keyboard. This is one of those really cool 90s, 2000s colorful mechanical Alps-based keyboards. And these came in like a whole bunch of different colors, including this blue, it's like a red, purple, maybe a green, orange, maybe a black as well. These came in actually all different types of colors, and I found this blue one for a decent price. And I decided to make it into a project board of mine because there's some really nice modern things about it. Apart from the cable being kind of dirty, this is actually one of the very rare USB Alps boards. So right away, this makes this board usable on anything, pretty much. And yes, I know it does have a Mac layout, but even if you did want to swap the keycaps for a different Alps set, it does have the normal or the standard Alps bottom row with the 1.5 and 1 unit modifier keys and a 7 unit spacebar, and then full ANSI 105 key, including this, but it's still 104 because you have 7 keys in the bottom row instead of 8, but then you have an extra on the numpad, so still 104 keys overall. I mean, if you're using this on a Windows or Linux PC, you'll just, your Alt and Windows keys are swapped around, which for someone who doesn't use either, it's really not a problem. The keycaps do use the same italicized font as on Apple boards, but at least on this one, the homing bumps are on the correct keys. So that's one little issue that's been resolved at least. I always thought these came with complicated SKCM Black Alps, but it turns out these actually come with simplified tactile Black Alps, or SKBM Blacks. They are actually very similar to SKCM Blacks, although the tactile leads are a little bit different. I mean, besides using the simplified contacts and all that, they're really not that nice, and yes, they ping as well, but you can swap the tactile leaves. If you swap the SKBM tactile leaves into SKCM Blacks, they actually do become a little bit more tactile, but it still has that rougher feeling, so it's, I don't know. This board was somewhat dirty when I got it, but as soon as I started just pulling the keycaps off, some of the switches broke right out. So I was like, what? So then that made me think, were some of the contact pins oxidized or corroded or something? So that was really shocking to me when I started pulling the caps. The switches came out with them, and I wasn't even pulling that hard on some of them. And most of the switches weren't working anyway, so I just decided to swap in a whole set of spare Matias Quiet Click switches. And because of the transparent Matias housing, they actually fit really well with the whole transparent theme of this keyboard. So I think this actually came out pretty good. And for the keycaps, they are pretty sure lasered and infilled ABS and Alps mount, of course. Although theoretically a black Taihao cubic set should fit this, although with the numpad legends, that's really the only thing that wouldn't work. And this is actually not the same Alps switch as on the Apple boards. This is some different switch. I actually broke this while trying to pull it off, but whatever that is, I have no idea. And as for how it feels, some unpleasant, scratchy, mushy linear switch. Also pretty stiff. Well, at least you don't have to really use it. It doesn't really have any use on a modern thing anyway. The build quality isn't the greatest either. It uses a plastic mounting plate, and of course the case is all plastic and held by clips and hidden screws, so it is kind of flimsy, and it does, twist if you shake it, and yes, that doesn't mean it's pretty light for an Alps board, but it's not like super terrible or anything. Although the plastic clips are the large and easy to open type, similar to the AEK, so they're not all that bad. But what is kind of annoying, under these little pads there are hidden screws here, and there's also a screw right there. So that is annoying. Taking it apart, you have to take these off. Although it's kind of cool, you can see the whole PCB in here. And yes, this is actually an SMK-8112 now. No, this is not the same SMK from, SMK 2nd Gen. This is SMK, meaning this is a strongman made keyboard. And then let's have flip out feet. It does have also USB pass-throughs, so just like the Matias Tactile Pro, it's got a built-in USB hub for 2 sides, not any on the back side, but it's a cool and quirky keyboard to look at the same time. I really like Matias Quiet Click switches. They're actually really snappy and have a satisfying feel to them while still being somewhat quiet anyway. Also, one of my fastest typing switches. And yes, since these are known for chattering, I did have to clean out a bunch of these with some vinegar very carefully between the contacts. That did seem to fix for the most part, but then there's some switches that are still chattering again. So kind of unfortunate, but I really don't want to keep taking this thing apart to keep cleaning switches. I mean, but it's what can you do at this point? Although I've seemed to pretty much to fix all the switches on the most important keys anyway. I think I even had to put a new switch here, and was it the enter key or backspace? Anyway, so don't have to worry about those messing up anytime soon. Overall, I think it's a really good looking modern Alps baseboard, and the fact that it's USB based is actually a very rare thing. It makes this a good modern project. So, and the original SKBM black switches aren't that good anyway, so swapping out those, if you don't mind taking this apart, can make this a really cool modern Alps board. And that'll conclude it for this video. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and that'll be it.